Okay. Got it? Yes, you cleared it off. Now look at the sheet once again. Please show your sheet. Right? Nice sheet, okay? Wonderful. Amazing. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, monthly expenses are there. Child education, future education expenses are still there. Outstanding loans are still there. Financial goals are still there. Who is missing? Middle center, personality is missing. And therefore, before investment, what we have to do is we have to ensure our income, right? This is very, very critical. Whenever I have done this exercise, so this is the reason why should we buy insurance, life insurance. Because at any point of time, even scriptures say, Padam Padam, yes, Vipadam Pradesh. I was boarding yesterday Air India Express flight. Nowadays, you board Air India Express, Spandana is like 3x. Spandana is recording. నాతో రావాలి కదా లింక్ పంపించావు కదా లింక్ పంపించండి లింక్ నాకు పంపించండి లాగిన్ అవుతాను అది కూడా తీసేయాలి డీటెయిల్స్ లేదా మోర్లు independent us, we should have insurance. Right? How much? How much the number we will come very clearly later. How much the approximate number is something like 10x of your annual income minimum. Say somebody has 2 lakhs per month of salary, say 24 lakhs CTC. Bangalore number would be 1.5 times of that. Whatever numbers are. So term plan of around 2.5 CR is good enough. The money that we, I mean, in case of eventuality, the money received is a tax free. And this amount in mutual funds can very well replace the income of 2 lakh rupees per month. Easily. At least, the gadi chal jaye, things will go. So this is for whom, when, and how much. Right. Detailed numbers can be calculated very well. That what is our exact expenses that we are going to have. That calculation we are going to do later, slightly. So let's come to some myths around the insurance when people talk about insurance. First is I am young and I don't need insurance. When you are young, you should pounce on insurance because the premium values will be the least at this point of time. Second is only breadwinner needs the coverage. No, the entire family needs the coverage. It is too expensive. Sometimes we will come to that later. People say that Prabhuji, this money just drained away. The golden rule of thumb is 5% of CTC should be reserved for training it up. If my CTC is say 50 lakhs, how much is 5% of CTC? 2.5 lakhs. I should have insurance around premium around 2.5 lakhs. Happily, I should drain away that 2.5. Don't think about saving, some way those 2.5 lakh rupees. Okay. Then work coverage is always enough. So that is not the case. Sometimes, you get a pink slip, Oracle 30,000 lakhs. And you get a pink slip, and, because of that shock, if somebody dies, he's not insured. Right? So, the work insurance is not enough. Life insurance is a savings plan. Okay, we will come to this little later. Healthy people don't need insurance. Isn't it? However healthy we are, we need insurance. And term life is a waste of money. And we will come to this. These are the myths. Okay. Mistakes. Underestimating coverage needs. People say, "Prabhuji, 1 CR ka bana deta humne insurance." But 1 CR nowadays, evaporates like, very fluid. So, not using CGHS or the group plans. The central government health scheme, they have some very good health scheme. This is like, anybody is central government with central government? So their schemes are fantastic schemes, right? So these are some of the insurances, and happily let go 3 to 5% of CTC. Happily let go. Don't, Krishna conscious, Krishna is it saying that I will donate it to Krishna, or, I will do something like that. No. 3 to 5% of CTC should happily be drained out in insurance needs. So this, how to select the insurance, I will not go in depth in this. So this is the mantra one. Life insurance is income insurance. So please make a note of this. Life insurance is income insurance. We are not insuring life. LIC has this book title, right? Zindagi ke saath bhi. When somebody is insured, it is that he is not going to die. So how the life is insured? So life insurance is not life insurance. Life insurance is income insurance. Life insurance is income insurance. Again, some caution here. Not everything is covered in insurance file. Recently, there was a case, somebody was driving Bullet and he died while driving Bullet. And the company said, we cover only up to 125cc vehicles because you are 350cc, you are not covered. So all these sports, just everything is not covered under insurance, right? The natural risk is covered, but the acquired risk is not covered under insurance. And there are multiple cases of this, but these are not covered under insurance. So the insurance is always more important than investment. Please do not start investment without having sufficient insurance. And which insurance that is? So see what happens is life can still continue. on the lower grade. That means instead of my child, without me, instead of my child going to Allen's JE, maybe it will go to some local JE classes. Instead of they driving some, this is the car. Say Desire, they will drive Alto. Life will continue on a lower grade without investment, right? Instead of having some cruise marriage for my daughter, I may have some simple marriage for my daughter. Life will continue without investment, but without insurance, life will come to a standstill, right? And therefore, we have to insure today. Again, who should insure, how much should insure? This is the slide. Okay? It is not some static number. If you are retired, you absolutely don't need insurance. But maybe your son, daughter, they need insurance. So this is the stages of the life, and we should know what is the insurance need. Right. So next. So what is mantra one? Yes. Life insurance is income insurance. Right. Okay, let's go to now the next part of it. So now I have a vada plate. So I have a vada plate with me. The sattvic vada. And cost of this plate is 60 rupees for 2 months. And I have another plate with me. This is idli plate. So when I design this idli vada, you can see idli vada right there. So this is also 60 rupees per plate. 60 rupees idli, 60 rupees per plate. Now in case if I take mixed plate, mix idli vada plate, it is 90 rupees. Right. So mathematics, vada plate is 60 rupees. Yeah. Vada plate is 60 rupees, 2 vada 60 rupees. Idli plate is 60 rupees, 2 idli 60 rupees. 1 vada and 1 idli, it should be how much? 60 rupees. But if you take 1 vada and 1 idli, the plate is 90 rupees. How many of you have this experience? When you get a mixed product, you have to pay more. Right? So, let's come to the point. So, whenever you are selecting a plan, right? Many times people have this idea which plan to select for insurance. And there is, a jamaat of people which are actuaries who are trained to confuse with different plans. If any stats or actuaries personality, please forgive my statement. They will come up with so many plans that you just invest 1 lakh rupees per year for 10 years and wait for another 20 years and receive 2 lakh rupees per year for lifetime and return again 10 lakh rupees. And all different permutation combinations they will. Always remember that endowment plan, right? So what is endowment plan means? Whenever we go for insurance, there are 2 types of plans. One is called as pure term plan, and another is called as term insurance plus savings plan. So pure term plan means either it is an idli plate or a vada. You are just going for the insurance. But when you say insurance plus savings plan, it is like idli plus vada put together. So what happens is when we take something like endowment plan, we are not sufficiently covered. Right? We may have a premium of say typical LIC policies. We may have a premium of say 60,000 rupees per year, and some insured is 20 lakh. So sizable amount goes in the premium, but the insured amount is just 20 lakhs. So it doesn't have sufficient cover. Neither it has sufficient returns. Am I clear? Right. So whenever we mix products, we will suffer either on coverage or on the returns. So never mix products, and that's our mantra too. Never mix insurance with fees. Any insurance, any endowment insurance, write it down. The rate of return is never more than 4.5 to 5.5% per annum. And this I am telling you after a lot of calculation. and PhD in modeling, right? So many people send me, and I just prove them that this is 4.5, 4.2. 5.5 is the max number I have come across after at least couple hundred policies being rolled up and studied for this. So whenever there is any endowment policy, it will just go maximum 4.5 to 5.5. It doesn't look like nothing because the inflation in India is at 6%, right? And if you go to ULIP is unit linked insurance plan, then they have their own drawbacks, right? So therefore, the mantra two is never mix insurance with investment. What was the mantra one? Life insurance is income insurance, and life insurance is not static; it's dynamic number. I can have insurance of 2 CR now. After 3 years, I can have insurance of 3 CR. After some time, I can have insurance of 4 CR. I can come down to 2 CR. Retirement, I can say bye bye insurance, no insurance. So it's a dynamic thing. It is not something like set it and forget it, right? And whenever we say insurance, always go ahead with term insurance only, right? Term insurance. Never go for any plan which is like endowment, like ULIP, which is like money back policy, which is like any other policy like that. Whoever it was just friend pushing it, the relative pushing it, whatever it is. Okay, we should not go ahead with. Never makes insurance with investment. And what you will remember from this? Italy, madam? Simple one. Next, we come to health insurance. Now, when we say the life insurance is the income insurance, somebody has some health problem, and just yesterday we were discussing. Somebody was operated for lungs transplant because of some droppings of pigeons and they developed this lung issue, and the surgery cost for 1 year. Can you imagine? And it is such a delicate decision. This is I am telling you yesterday's example, right? So if the life insurance is income insurance, health insurance is savings insurance. We must have health insurance. So otherwise, our investment has no value. Anytime we may just come across a kind of disease and it can completely wipe out. Corona times we have seen that people completely wiping out 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs of their savings and it just wiped out. Right. So it deals with safeguarding our savings, deals with the rising healthcare costs. You know what is the inflation? What is the medicine inflation? It is 14%, right? 14% per year. What treatment we have for 100 rupees today, next year it will be 114 rupees. So it's a solid inflation cost there. The premium is quite affordable if we take as early as possible. Tax benefit now, tax is the old regime, new regime, not so much applicable. And it can give us access to the quality healthcare, the wide network of the hospitals, right? So without health insurance, the things may go disarray. So how much to have health insurance? The first health insurance we should have is the company policy, the company insurance that companies provide. Why? Because whenever you have the group insurance from the company, it comes with no conditions. You do not have to complete 3 years for this disease, 5 years for this disease, and anything. So one must take, the company insurance policy, the group insurance. But that is not enough. Along with one's company policy, one should have personal policy as well. Because if suddenly we are fired from a company, or if we leave company, or we leave one company and join another company in that 24 hours, padam, right? So we just cannot leave it to chance, right? So how much to have? So generally, now I'll come to another point, is that there is, instead of taking a plain health insurance policy, we should go ahead with something called as base policy and super account. Here's a small example. Say there is a family of four, husband is 38 years, wife is 37, child one is 12 years, child 2 7 years, and they want 1 CR policy. Okay. In that case, the premium will be around 60,000 rupees per year. But if you go, instead of a plain vanilla policy, if you go with something like base policy and super top up, you can reduce your premium to the degree of almost like 30 to 40% reduced premiums will come. See, every time you are not going to need 1 CR, the insurance. So base 20 lakhs is enough, and beyond that 20 lakhs plus 80 lakhs. Here in this case, it is like 10 lakhs plus 90 lakhs. There are 2, 3 combinations being put up there. So accordingly, what happens is that you will have drop in the premium price while you are insured sufficient. Again, that 5 lakhs is not a good example, because all the hospital facilities, they come proportionate to your base policy amount. Which room you will get, it is not proportional to your overall insurance, it is proportional to your base insurance. So 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs plus 80, 20, 80, 80, 20 principle is a good principle. And but it will, same coverage, but much lesser premium that we will go ahead with. Okay, so these are the benefits of super top-up policy. You can just click it. We'll not discuss this much. It provides relief and yeah. So right. So the third mantra is health insurance is savings insurance. Okay, tell me what is the first mantra? Life insurance is income insurance. What is the second mantra? Don't ask for idli vada plate. Right. But what that means? Loan means insurance and investment. But what that means? Whenever it is insurance, it is always a term plan, vanilla term plan with some riders. Rider says if you are traveling too much, an accidental rider. Then there should be one good rider is premium waiver rider. And the third good rider is total or partial disability rider. So generally, a good advisor will always say they will come to you with these 3 riders minimum. And then other riders are not. These are like 3 basic riders are required. And this is what is the third mantra? Health insurance is savings insurance. Health insurance. So it is not that because we are insured, the health will not go down. It will be there. Right. But at least the savings will not go down. Savings will be taken care. And now we come to savings and emergency fund. We have not come to investment anyway. Okay. Now I want you to go to our sheets back. Okay, there is some activity we will be having here. So you don't have to tear it off because they are not going to do anything with this. But this is the second sheet is what we are going to fill. Goal of this sheet is to find out what is my potential saving and how much emergency fund I should have. Right? This is the goal of this. Look at this sheet. The sheet talks about annual incomes, husband and wife together. And then we are talking about expenses. Within expenses, there is. So let's go ahead. Okay, everybody with this sheet. Approximate numbers. We do not want exact numbers. Okay. So we want some approximate numbers. So let's go to the first serial number 1 there. Salary income, husband plus wife. Approximate. Right. Annual income. This is annual income. Say wife earns 18 lakh is per annum, husband earns 24 lakhs, 18 plus 24. How much? That much. Okay. Whatever the number is. So the salary income, husband plus wife. And by the way, don't lose this sheet. You have a lot of personal data with you. Please preserve this sheet. Second one, any bonus or any other additional source of income that we have. Like rental income, sometimes some royalty income, sometimes you have some FD put in, that income is coming in. Okay? So all the income, right? All the income that you can put in here. Are exhausted? So much. Okay. So now let's come to household expenses. Next column. So keep writing there house rent, approximate number. Okay. Society maintenance repair Nowadays, maintenance is a huge cost, right? 5,000 per month is like general nowadays, right? So, right. Food, grocery, and other expenses. Per month you can. If you are following per month, follow per month. If you are following per annum, follow per annum. Just multiply by 12. See, end of this is we want to find out what is our potential saving, right? And what should be our emergency fund. This is the idea why we are doing this activity. And again, it is personal finance, so these numbers will be very, very personal. The numbers will change from one to another, right? Vehicle, so somebody has Thar, or somebody has Thar Rock, or whatever it is, right? So just write down the vehicle expenses. Next, medicine, doctor, healthcare, retirement age, I mean, so these numbers will be little more numbers that time. Then just go ahead. Electricity, water, AMCs, annual maintenance, domestic health, right? These are also good numbers nowadays. Car driver, car driver charges, like 1,000 rupees per month. So those numbers please account for. And now next thing is mobile telephone internet. So thanks to Ambani ji, mobile internet quite cheap. Okay, it's economical. OTT. Now this is not an expense for a devotee. Yes. Okay, TV cable, newspaper, subscriptions. Subscription is a good expense nowadays. Amazon Prime and then other subscriptions. And any other household expenses. Right. Any other household expenses. Please be on the sheet, okay, which we are filling. Next, go ahead, lifestyle expenses, right? Clothes and accessories. Sometimes we may just upgrade life. Like when I changed from academics to finance, then first thing my people said that you have to change all your clothes. I said, oh, wow. Yeah, in simple living, I think you have to have some different sets of. So I mean, so you may certain times upgrade your lifestyle. I was going to Yatra by train, then I started going by one time at this flight. It is upgradation of the life, right? So it comes with a cost, it's expense. Write down that. Dining, movies, sport. So movie sport is not much for a devotee. Dining is expense. Okay? And we want to pay it because our home also should have. So that I mean see what that is. Personal care, travel and annual vacation. In our case, yatras. The yatra that we go for. So that should be accounted for. This is also an expense. Then next is fitness coach, financial advisor, CA, those fees, and around their hobbies, club membership, professional courses and education. Upskilling has become a thing for upskilling. They have to keep on constantly learning, taking some courses here and there. These are the numbers. Charity and donation, right? So Grihastha is known for charity. It is a very sacred principle for Grihastha ashram that one should give in charity. So Janmashtami time, book distribution marathon, Bhadra campaign. I mean, we are the only within Varnashram. Grihastha is the only earning income. So he only has to maintain the other three ashramas: Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So charity is very important for a Grihastha. But the number is there, right? So some number there, and any other expense like that. What is the difference between household expense and lifestyle expenses? Household expenses are generally constant. Lifestyle expense they fluctuate. We can upgrade them, we can downgrade them. That is the difference between household expense and lifestyle expense. Next, go back. Sheet behind. Dependent expenses. Dependent expenses. Children schooling, college, tuition. If we are in that stage, right? Contribution to parents. This is very important. Right? So sometimes parents are dependent on us. They do not have the pension or they do not have their own sufficient savings. So it's a very, very sacred duty of a grahastha to take care of the parent. And then other expenses. Sometimes we have some sibling, other dependents. So let's find out total dependent expenses. Insurance premiums. Next column. Insurance premium, life insurance. Again, okay, if you have any those kind of endowment policies, as soon as the policy is over, you should stop. Blanket stop, okay, because the cover is not sufficient, and immediately you should proceed to a significant cover along with term insurance. But just write down currently whatever insurance you the premium that you are paying for life insurance, health insurance, car insurance. You will not believe, once I had a case where somebody just missed the car insurance and he met with an accident. Car was insured. Third party he had to pay more than 1.2 CM. So, I mean, renewing car insurance timely is absolutely important, right? So, this is the car insurance premium, and then any other insurance like house insurance, home insurance. Generally, people don't have it here. Insurance is very cheaply available. Once you have the house, and in fact, you have jewelry, you can insure the jewelry as well. So, a lot of insurance products are available, but India, the depth is not so much. Then EMIs. Okay. Home loan EMI, okay, right? Vehicle loan, other loan, loan servicing, and total expenses. Everybody done with this sheet? Okay. Now we come to savings calculation part. Okay. So total income minus total expenses. Now total expenses we know we have to add all the expenses we have calculated under those different heads. This is our total expenses, and find out. So total income minus total expenses is equal to the savings that we should be having. Right. Depends. Okay. Final calculation. Okay, right. So here. So now certain expenses are annual expenses, certain expenses are monthly expenses. But now you have roughly idea that what is my monthly expense. Roughly you have idea. Children fee is once in a year, but if I divide by 12, then it is monthly number. Yatra once in a year, but divided by 12, this is monthly number. So whatever is my monthly expense, multiply minimum by 3 is our emergency fund. So please write down the emergency fund. That is your monthly expense. Now you have the number, right? Monthly expense multiply by minimum multiply by 3. Ideally, it should be multiplied by between 3 to 6, but at least multiply by 3. And then what happens is this is our emergency fund. Emergency fund is emergency fund, right? That means in case of emergency, this fund should come handy. Everybody done with this? All of you have these two numbers with you. What is your monthly expense? What is your monthly possible saving? And what should be your emergency fund amount? Are these numbers with you, please? These numbers are with you, right? Yeah. So it's a break time. So I mean, just we'll cover a couple of slides here. So yeah. So we will have. Okay, wait. So the savings. So we should have controlled expenses. That is very important to have controlled expenses. And now the controlled expenses advice goes under different name. Delayed gratification, but this is very important. And one should save, and save. Reason, I mean, not going to the extreme that we are starving and saving, but not to another extreme as well. Now you have your number with you. What should be your saving? And that saving should be literally like your mutual fund SIP. We are going to come to investment later, but savings is equal to mutual fund SIP. So if you have this question, am I doing enough? Now you have the answer. Is your savings number is equal to your SIP number? If the answer is yes, you are doing well. If the answer is no, maybe some working around. And then emergency fund 3 into monthly expense. 3 is a very modest number. It should be 6 into monthly expense. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, between this. So this was the old formula, income minus expense is equal to savings. But the new formula is income minus savings is equal to expense. In Shastra, there are extreme examples. There is the example of Avanti Brahmana, who had lot of money and never spent even a farthing on his family. This is one extreme example. And in the beginning of the session, we have seen another example of Vasudeva Datta, pure devotee. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is concerned around. So we have to just be balanced. And we should, of course, we should spend. Money needs to be enjoyed. Bhogena punyam kushalena papa. This is how Prahlad Maharaj he minimized his papa and punya. Bhogena punyam. Bhoga is there. Kushalena papa. But at the same time, it has to be modest, right? So now, when we know the emergency fund, the next question is where we should park our emergency. So, emergency fund should be always parked in FD, fixed deposits. It should not be parked in debt funds. Why? This is the reason. Like this year, 26 January, Monday, and if you have an emergency on Friday, what happens is your money in the debt fund will be released on Wednesday because Monday was off. Friday evening you had emergency, Saturday market is off, Sunday is off, Monday is off because of 26 January. Next day you request and the Wednesday you will get to. So although you have money, you have to wait for 5 solid days to receive your own money in your life. And emergency is not always something like life-threatening emergency. There is some amazing opportunity has come. There is somebody who wants to sell his, which is the car you like. Say somebody wants to sell car for 2 lakh rupees for some crazy reason. You say, so where it can come? So emergency fund is not emergency in the sense that मर गए ये हुआ not. There would be positive emergency as well. There is certain opportunity that you have and which you want to take on. So emergencies are not always negative. Emergency fund can be used for some positive activities also. So how to put FD? So you understand guys, emergency fund should not be in the debt fund. It should be in fixed deposit in the bank. And there is another reasoning behind this. So we will not go in that reasoning. But how to make FD? Say my monthly expense is around 1.5 lakhs, 1.5 into 3, my the emergency fund is around 4.5 lakhs, I say 5 lakhs of FD. So it is not that all 5 lakhs is put in one place as one FD. What we have to do is small staggered FDs, right? So I will have 1 lakh ka 3 FDs and 50,000 ka 4 FDs. So instead of having one FD of 5 lakh, what happens is when you break FD, automatically your interest rates will down. And emergency is not always because my emergency fund is 5 lakh, my emergency is 5 lakh. That is not the case. Sometimes my emergency may be just 75 lakh, 75,000, right? So in that case, maybe I can just break 1 lakh FD or I can break 50,000 to FD or something like that. So we should have small staggered FDs, right? So we know what is the emergency fund and it should be always parked in the fixed deposit and not in the debt fund. Okay, once again, reasoning is this. And always remember that the emergency comes really as an emergency. Right. So when market is off on Monday or it is off on Friday and suddenly we need money. So let's come to this and then we take a break. If you park this emergency fund in FD, we should not think about returns on it. Right. So this is the mantra 4. Never worry about returns on emergency fund. So I have that 5 lakh rupees. I should not think, let me get little more return, let me park it in some, arbitrage fund, some liquid fund, or some, some small cap that is absolute danger. Okay, because I mean the retention period is anytime you want to withdraw the money. So never think of returns on emergency. Emergency fund is not for returns, it is simply to make the money available at the most needed time. Right. Bank FDs, with a click of a button, the money will be in your account. You can net transfer, you can withdraw ATM, within the next 15 minutes you can have that money. So we go ahead with staggered small FDs for our emergency. So this mantra 4 is, okay, what is the mantra 1? Life insurance is income insurance. What is the mantra two? Never mix investment with insurance. What is mantra three? Health insurance is savings insurance. Right. And mantra four is never worry about the returns on emergency. Okay, emergency fund is 5-6 lakh rupees that we have in emergency fund. Don't worry about the returns. It should be part, let it be split. That Hare Krishna. So we'll take a small break. Yes. So we will break for 10 minutes. And please do join because we have just covered like 40 slides of the 100 slides. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there is light snack outside there. There are a few cashews as well as some chips, but chips are not fried. Okay, they are baked chips, so healthy chips, so you can have it. And then let's be back in another 10 minutes maximum. So right now we are at 6:45.
Okay. Continue with Bhagavad. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So till now we have seen the four mantras. What was the first one? Life insurance is income insurance. What is the second one? Never mix investment with, right? What is the third one? Health insurance is savings insurance. What is the fourth one? Never worry about the returns on emergency fund. Returns on. Now, there is a reason why the finance is called as personal finance because it is very, very personal. And now, next we come to something called as goal-based investing. See, in the market, in the stock market or in the financial market, everything is moving. You know, Trump will have one tweet and markets will move, right? And the interest rates are moving, returns are moving, everything is moving. Although everything is moving, our financial goals are fixed. So, what is wise? To chase something which is uncertain or to focus on something which is certain? What is wise? Focus on something which is certain. Right? And therefore, the investing that we think of is called as goal-based investing. So now what are the goals? Like somebody may say, what is financial goal? Right. So the goal is divided largely into these three categories: needs, wants, dreams. Everything is a goal here. Yes, everything is a goal. But needs means we have to fulfill it. We have to, we must. Wants means we have unlimited wants, right? Right. Probably that talks about it. Dreams mean we aspire for it, we plan for it, may or may not. Right. So everything is not goal. Everything is not want. Everything is not need. Everything is not dream. We have to categorize the things. So now some examples. Healthcare. Is it want or is it dream, want or need? Need. Okay. Education. Child education. Can we tell my child, beta, market returns are down, take 1 year ka break. Just repeat 8th standard once again. And next year, when I have sufficient money, you go to 9th standard. Can we do that? No, we cannot. So this is need. Food and clothes. Of course, need. Okay. So these are like needs. Wants. I want to shift from 2 BHK to 4 BHK. Is it a need or want? Depends. I mean, you have to ask your wife. So, travel. I can take third AC, but nowadays probably third AC are just like each other. So I will go by second AC. Second AC is just very close to flight. I go by flight. So to travel. Is it need or want? Want. Right. Luxurious items. A luxurious item is, now don't take it personally, but some examples I have. Okay, I'll take examples. So what are the luxurious items? Some examples. S25. Okay, S25. Okay. Whatever it is. Okay, whatever the luxurious item that you think of, these are wants. And then there are dreams. Startup I want to have, hobbies, like promotion retired at the age of 42. Right. I also want to have early retirement. This is a dream. So all the here, this is a very important sheet because this is very, very personal to you. Right. And what we are going to do is, this is called as financial goal matrix. Financial goal matrix. So now we have noted some financial goals, around 20 odd financial goals. And now we have to decide whether this financial goal is short term, mid term, long term based on time horizon. Okay, just tell you the numbers now. Less than 3 years is called a short. Just it is. Are you able to see the short? Just below that right now, less than 3 years. less than 3 years, it's short. 3 years to 5 years, it is called as midterm goal. This sheet, okay, financial goal matrix, and there it is written time horizon, short term, midterm. Long term is up to 3 years is short term, 3 to 5. These are flexible numbers. Okay. Sometimes it is 3 to 7, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 years, it is midterm goal, and more than 5 plus years, it is called as long term goal. Okay, this is the goal based on time horizon. You have to only tick it here. Okay, so please understand that line very well. Type of the whether it is need or want. We are not considering dreams now. Okay, then dream is a dream. Okay. So whether it is need or want, child education, need or want, need. Okay, so we have seen that need and the third category is event, whether it is one-time goal or the recurrent, one-time goal or recurrent, right? Like marriage, whether it is one-time or recurrent, hopefully one time. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to identify these 20 goals and we are going to tick 3 boxes every row. 3 boxes every row we are going to tick, and we have to first find out whether this goal is. We will go one by one. Okay, don't hurry. Whether my goal is short-term, mid-term, or long-term goal. Whether my goal is a one-time or recurrent goal. Like child is in BTech first year education, engineering education. It's one-time or recurring. Recurring. 4 years it will recur. Right. So this is a recurring goal. So we'll come to that, and then it is whether it is need or want. So every row you have to make 3 ticks appropriately. So let's go to the first one. Child one, school education. If this is applicable. So if your child is, child is just 2 years old and school is going to start after 5 years, then that goal is long term. If the child is 4 years old and the education is going to start after 3 years, then that goal is midterm. If the child is 5 years and next year you are going to start the education, that goal is short term. So what question you have to ask is, child education, after how many years this goal I have to pay for this? I have to arrange for this goal. Yes. So if it is not applicable, just leave it. Okay. So then we have some empty boxes, empty lines. There you can have some specific. Okay. So just go now. Child one, higher education. Okay, child one, higher education. So say my child is in 10th standard, 11th standard, higher education, take at least 3 years, it is short term goal for right? Graduation. If my child is just in 2nd standard, is it okay or it is too complicated? We have sheet here. Any additional?
Give me one sheet. I'll take it. Any of you need to register? Then copy. You need the whole set 10 copies.
Yes. There is one page also missing. Wait. So, what question we have? Is it okay or it is too complicated? Simple question we have to ask. Okay. Like an example. Anybody wants to volunteer? Yes. Your child, one. Oh, what is the age? 9 years. So, which standard? Third standard. So, for him, school education is short term, mid term, or long term? Short term. It is ongoing. Right. His graduation will happen after almost 10 years. It is long term. Right. For child 2, what is the child 3's age? Child 3 is 5 years. For child 3, school education is short term, mid term, long term? Short term, because it is going to happen immediately. Right. You are getting this point? Yeah. So, the same. Child 1 is same time we have to write whether it is need or not. Suppose it is need. And even schooling is recurring in 10 years. So just so at the end of this exercise, what we want to find out is how many short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial goals I have. At least numbers. When you walk out, you know that I have 10 short-term, 5 mid-term, and 6 long-term goals. Out of that, 5 are one time, remaining are recurring. And these are the wants and these are the needs. And you have number at least of the goals are there. Right? Sure. Go to the next one. Right? So the child we have seen child 1 2. Retirement plan. We are at 11. So when I am going to retire? That is your question. Okay. When you are going to retire? Simply assume say 60. Okay. See, one thing about retirement is not just about money. We had one devotee. He went abroad, stayed there for 15 years, came back, had a good amount, retired. Along with money, retirement is, the identifiable service in the temple. Identifiable service in the temple according to your psychophysical nature. This is very, very important. Right? You just cannot imagine that I will retire and I will do Chappal Stand Seva. Chappal Stand Seva is perfectly Vaikuntha Seva. Okay, there is nothing. But your personality may not be fitting for that Seva. After this is what Lord Krishna told Arjuna. He said that Arjuna, you wanted to go to forest. You want to become a beggar, but your psychophysical nature is not a beggar. Somebody said, hey, ja bhag. No, you will take your bow and arrow and start fighting. So instead of fighting there, fight now here. So retirement is not just about money. That we as a devotee we have to understand this very well. So when we are planning for retirement, we have to also identify suitable seva which is according to our psychophysical nature, and so that we can eventually put that time in Krishna's service. Otherwise, so this devotee he did not identify any seva. So again he went back to job and he said that Prabhuji, I am not doing job for money. I am doing job for some engagement. This is very, very genuine. So, we have to identify some suitable seva. We have to get in touch with our temple commanders and find out some suitable seva according to our psychophysical nature. And Prabhupada's mission is far and wide, it can have a lot of seva. Okay, so 11 is retirement. Okay. It is want or need? Need, right? And it is one time? Yeah, it is one time. Vacation or foreign trip? Now, yatra is need. Foreign trip may be want. Or if your husband or wife they are just pushing, we have to go every 2 years. They have, and then there is nothing wrong in that. I mean, we are not discussing in any derogatory sense. People are, they are meant like that, and that's how Indian GDP also will grow. We want India to grow. So, and that's perfectly fine. So, for somebody, something is want. For somebody, that may be a need. For somebody, that may be a dream. Just depends, and that's why the finance is very personal. Okay. Like one devotee, he had I guess also, but I guess his pen was 51,000 rupees. And another devotee went to him and said, Prabhuji, simple living, I think 51,000 rupees pen. Then he came back next week and he said that Prabhuji, I have reduced my stand. This is only 10,000 rupees. So, personal, like personal finance. So next is vehicle purchase. Vehicle purchase. And I'm a very strong proponent of having a car. If you have a big family, I mean, there is lot of limitations on two-wheeler. I have led a two-wheeler life, but my realization is faulty realization, so don't take it for granted. Is that a third-class car is better than first-class bike? because you get exposed to heat, you get exposed to sun, then the rains, lot of, so at least the second-hand car. I mean, I very, very strongly advise. And nowadays, I don't know how the Bangalore roads are. Pune roads are like you feel you're on the right. So, so the car purchase, for I strongly say car purchase is need, yes, but it can be want for some. Okay, and then how quickly you want to purchase a car? Accordingly, it can be short term, mid term, long term, and one time or recurring, one time begin. Home purchase. Now, home purchase, there is something called as consumption and there is something called as obsession. And please, I mean, take it very lightly, okay? It is like you are attending this class, is like you are showing your Patrika to Jyotish. When you are showing Patrika to Jyotish, don't take it like, Brahma Vakya. That he said, Aisa hoga, to hoga, nothing like, you just take it as opinion. Just opinion. So please take my statements also as opinion and give your blessing. So the first house that you purchase is for consumption and it is a must. But one is on the house purchasing spree, second, third, fourth, fifth, unless he has some another plan, may not be highly advised because the real estate return rate is not more than 9% across India. Okay, so house purchase, the first house we strongly say we should purchase, and there is no problem purchasing a small house to begin with. As family expands, you move the bigger house and bigger house. There are some calculations which say simply stay in a rented house and invest that money in market. But rented house is a rented, right? You have to vacate it every year. That landlord will have. There is another adhyatmik. So it comes with its own package, right? So the house for consumption is a need. You understood the difference, consumption and obsession, right? So house for consumption is a need, and one should look for accord. So what is the general amount? How much loan we should take? So the rule of thumb is 5 times CTC. 5 times CTC is a good home loan to take. Now, we'll not go in the details of that, at what age and everything. Generally, don't take more than 5 times CTC. If your CTC is 20 lakhs, okay, you can take till 1 CR loan. But this is the max. Okay, but don't cross that. 5 times CTC is safe is 3, higher side is 5. 3 to 5. So next. So home purchase. So first house we strongly recommend. Go ahead, have the house for consumption. Second home. Second home is for somebody it may be wants, for somebody it may be need. So it depends on your finance, right? Starting a home renovation. You have to just ask your wife or husband. Home renovation, whether it's want or a need. So that's the answer. Then starting a business or startup. Now this is surely want, but say in some cases it may be a need and it's personal. You have to do 3 ticks, huh? Every line, every row, you have to have 3 ticks. Okay, you have to have 3 ticks. Because at the end, we are going to ask you this question. How many midterm goals you have? So you just count those midterm ticks. How many recurring goals you have? You count the recurring ticks. Right? Okay, so next one. Debt repayment, especially credit card or personal loan. So credit card payment, credit card is the worst way of taking a loan. They say 1.8%, but 1.8% less, 1.5% less to 12. That literally goes, including taxes, to 43% per annum. Okay, the first thing we should get rid of is the credit card loans. Not just close it as early as possible. The second we should get rid of is personal loans. Personal loans go by 14 to 15%. Third loan we should get rid of is the gold loan. Nowadays, you will see a lot of advertisements. Simply come with your gold and we will take the cash money. Per toda, you will get 1,20,000. The gold loan ka dhurandhar. Are you seeing these ads around? Because the statistics says 95% of the people who take gold loan let go the gold. And that's why these companies are after your gold. Right? So I mean, just be aware of this statistic, this number. So debt repayment. Then parents' health care. So this is a need and just depends on the stage they are in. My mother recently had, both the knees, knee replacement surgery. I have, like all the kids, they contributed something. But it is a very, this is the need now. This is not a want. This is the need. Right? Wealth creation for next generation. This is a want or need. It can be reasonably want, but it can be need also. If you have received property, ancestral property, then it becomes your duty to pass on. Right? So we just cannot be a consumer. So, and then just write down any additional goals which are not covered in this top 20 goals, financial goals. Yes. Personal health is second care health insurance. Yes. Right. It's not here. We are not coming to investment before insurance. Right. So personal health is not here. It's taken care of. Right. So now we have to. Now I want you to write the numbers. So just write down there. We have something there. Oh, we have something behind us. Yes. So just write down back page. Total count. Total number of financial goals that you have. Now you have to count it row wise, right? Although in a row we have ticked three, right? Some goal is midterm, some goal is recurring, some goal is a bond. You don't count that three. You have to just count how many rows are ticked at least once. These are your total number of financial. Is it clear? No, not clear. No. See, now we want to find out. So, no, we want to find out to right like this. How many? No, not total ticks. Number of novelty rows. So I mean, say this you will not count. This will not count. This you will count only once. Yes. 1, 2, 3. The total goes there. So here is 1, 2, and here 3, 4, 5, 6. And somewhere it is clear. 7. We have 7 short term. 7 goals. We are not segregating it yet. 7 goals. Is it clear? Is it becoming too complicated? Huh? We have to count. See, now I will just tell you. So within 20, so the first is child education. I have done 3 things, but that we have to count as 1 goal. Then second row, is there any tick? No tick, no tick, tick. So we have to see whether in that row if there is a tick, we count it as a goal. Okay. So count your total number of financial. Count it. Okay, right? Now we count total number of short-term goals. Now you have to just count, look at the short-term column and just find out how many ticks are there in the short term. How many ticks are there in the short-term column? These are total number of short-term goals. Behind you, right? One time. We want to retire only once. Not that we retire money, we just exhausted our money, again started working, again retired. So retirement is once, one time goal. Okay. Right. So then find out what are your midterm goals, right? So midterm goals, just count the midterm column, 1, 2. So these are midterm goals are 2, right? Find out how many are the long-term goals, more than 5 years. Go to that 5 years column. Okay? How many? Just find out. Mind you, you are doing a phenomenal exercise. You are sorting your finance by exactly knowing how many financial goals I have between 0 to 3 years, how many financial goals I have between 3 to 5, and how many financial goals I have between 5 years and onwards. And little bit of maths that we will not go into. Your entire finance is sorted. Okay, this may look little clumsy, but it is an important exercise. So, yes. Next, find out how many wants and needs analysis, how many wants we have, how many needs we have. Right? How many wants we have and how many needs we have. And that can be a self-reflecting a lot. If they have too many wants and little needs, then it's one type of life. If we have too many needs and very few wants, then it's another side. So we'll not explain that more. So this, okay, right? Final one. One-time goals and repetitive goals. So go to one-time column, find out how many ticks are there in the one-time column. These are one-time goals. So I would say I have 6 one-time goals, like child, the retirement is one, house purchase is one, car purchase is one. This. These are my one-time goals. And just find out the repetitive goals. Okay, repetitive. Right. Right. So so we have just done the goal analysis. The finance part of it we will not do it because. So the remaining part, just mess it up at home. So just scribble it peacefully when you are at home. Try to work it out when you are more peaceful. So this is called as goal-based investing. So whenever we have, yes, any question? So whenever we start investment, we should be very clear that this is investment for this goal, right? And when my investment becomes so simple now. If my investment is for the long-term goal, I will go ahead with equity funds, right? If my investment is for the mid-term goal, I will go ahead with the hybrid funds. If my investment is for the short-term goal, I will go ahead with liquid funds or trade funds. Clear? So every investment, I will repeat it once again. Every investment should be goal-based investment. Prabhuji, I am doing this 20,000 SIP. No, Prabhuji, I am doing this 20,000 SIP for my daughter's marriage, which is after 15 years. This is the complete statement. Or then we say, okay, after 15 years, is it a long term, mid term, short term? Long term. Can I invest it in equity funds? Yes. Prabhuji, this is 10,000 SIP for my mother's operation next year. What is the type of goal? Short term goal. We cannot go ahead with you invest that say 1 lakh rupees and market the corona occurs and market is 30%, right? So we cannot take risk with that money. So the short term goals, the money should be parked always in the debt funds or the liquid funds. If it is a mid-term goal, then it is hybrid funds. I'm just telling you basic. And if it is a short-term, long-term goal, then we should go ahead with equity funds. Okay, and that's why we do this, the goal-based investing analysis. So, grow your garden, right? Wealth grows when the roots are very strong. What is the root here? Very clear goal, investing mindset, we have a patience, and that's how we can make the wealth, right? But the problem is when we see the things happening, when we see Instagram, YouTube, this and that, what happens is that we get overwhelmed, and this is where we really need an advisor or guidance. This is look at this, 21 January 2016. Okay, I received this message. With his permission, I have put it up. Okay, so I received this message from Mars planet and from a demigod. Okay, I mean, don't guess from where it is. Okay, but a very wonderful boy, genuine, and he said that Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, I was aware very vaguely about stock trading, but I never thought about in that direction and never put any efforts, Prabhuji. That's the language, right? Very graceful, very submissive language. Recently, one of my colleagues showed how he invests on a Grow app and earns lakhs of rupees daily. Right? Can devotees try doing this, Prabhuji? Does it not come under gambling? Kindly clarify this doubt. Your servant from Mars planet. So this is the condition of our devotee. And I just wrote to him I mean, he's such a dignified personality. I told him that, man, I want to take a seminar, but if you are writing this, because when you want to do something, you are always preparing, you always want to make it better, and and nice, and there is no limit to perfection. I told him, horrible, absolutely stay away. Trading is a trap. That will come to how it is. This I am telling you after personally testing thousands of strategies and deep studies and technical analysis. There is another royal road to create wealth. I will be conducting a free seminar and all that. If a gem like you is asking this question, I should conduct this as early as we are overwhelmed. He said, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I will definitely attend and kindly let me inform me and your servant from planet Mars. We are overwhelmed by information. We are overwhelmed by the real life. There is, something is shown and something is actually happens in reality. How? Just look at this. Thirty minutes late. Just play it once again. What is the title? Title is real versus real life. Okay, so real life. Good task. Please raise your hands who needs here. So real life is something, and the real life is something far different, right? So never go on the face value. Generally, we are reporting speaking, very genuinely. People are putting it up. People are making it up. Be 100% confident that when your colleague is saying that he made, I just purchased 2 rupees ka share and it has become 120. Inside, he will be dying out of regret, saying that I just purchased one share of 2 rupees, which has become 120. What if it's a 2 rupees has become 120? So, I mean, there is a psychological need of acceptance, and do not believe in people's claim. Okay. So, I hope you remember this real versus real life. These are, if you don't remember, this is what happens. 8 crores lost in online fraud. Ex-IPS officer shoots critical. Date. I mean, this is the 23rd December 2020. He was the IPS, Punjab Cadre IPS. Punjab BGP committed suicide because he was cheated. Online fraud. Punjab commissioner committing suicide and he lost 8 crore. In Pune alone, last 3 months, 911 crores are lost by online fraud. Why? Because people simply want to. Right. So this is same thing. Why? Because again, growing the garden. We are people want to grow very quickly. They want to become rich. Now let's have a look at this. You will not believe. Recently we had a case from Moon Planet. Don't go in the details of the case, where somebody invested his father's retirement kitty in some scheme like 10% per month and something like that. And literally crores of rupees are lost. Multiple. So the problem is we do not want to become rich slowly. Right? So now next we come to the last activity. and that is, now come to the next page. I want you to come to this page. This is slightly mathematical, but very simple mathematics. How people will trap us by giving the tips, right? And Bangalore is famous for tips, by that. Okay, because they are famous for zero that. So, yeah. So now what happens is when we think we are the blessed one in the market, actually we are the trapped ones. And this sheet we will prove how it is. So say there is a thug who wants to trap somebody. What he will do is he will randomly take 1 lakh phone numbers. So on the first, this thing just write down 1 lakh. First bracket just write down 1 lakh. 50% of the people he will say market will go up, and 50% of the people he will say market will go down. So that means now here it is 1 lakh is divided into 50,000, 50K, 50K. Is it okay? Everybody? Right? Now he just got randomly 1 lakh numbers. So what is the cost of data these days? Very cheaply you get it. I mean, you have our numbers, and have you anytime realized suddenly you have some FD and 3-4 people will call you. So कुछ invest करना है क्या? I mean, nowadays everybody says it. So anyway, so 1 lakh is divided into 50. 50% he told market will go up. 50% he told market will go down. One of the two has to happen. So he'll say that next month market will go up. And one thing, so 150%, the simply by the probability it has come true, and this 50% it has come true. Now he will divide this 50,000 into two parts. How many? 25,000 and 25,000. And again he will tell that the next month 25,000 he will tell market will go up, another 25,000 he will tell market will go down. Pure statistics, pure maths, nothing else. Now, for one set of 25,000, these two predictions have come true. Right? Two predictions have come true. Now we go to that 25, and again he will divide that 25 into two sets of say 12,000, 12,000, and he will say, next month market will go up, market will go down. It has to happen, something has to happen. Market will either go up or it will go down. So the 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So now for this 12,000 people, 3 consecutive months, his predictions are coming true. In spite of Trump announcement, in spite of Hormuz, in spite of Iran, in spite of मुझे क्या tips देता है पता है? Right? Again, he will divide this 12,000 into how many? 6,000 and 6,000, and he will say market will go up, market will go down, and something has to happen. Now this 6,000, where he has said something will happen, now he's almost becoming like a demigod. 4 consecutive months, one after another. If I would have invested 1 lakh, it would have been 10 lakhs by now. Right? Now divide the 6,000 into how many? 3,000, 3,000. Now how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He will say market will go up, market will go down. Now this for these 3,000 people, he will say, and he said, wow, again true. My God, is he Shamta? 5 consecutive months, all shots are true, Prabhuji. What a tremendous studies he has done. He is not happy there. He will divide that into 3,000 will divide into 1,500, 1,500. And he will say market will go up, market will go. And for this 1,500 people, he has become next to Krishna. Like, Roja, I will not give his number. Because such a man, 6 consecutive months, whatever it happens, market goes up, he says goes up, he says goes down. He says whatever happens. He says, yeah, I have some, annual subscription of 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh, take 20 lakhs from me. these people will be sold a subscription of 2 lakh. Will you take or not? How many of you will take? Raise your hand. Okay, Chandra. How many of your friends may take? Raise your hand. Okay, now it's the same question. Right? Very easy to fall to. Right? Okay. Other 3,000 will say, yeah, our hit rate is almost like 85%. We gave 6 predictions, out of that 5 came true, 15, one went wrong. So we are almost like 85% accurate. Wow, 85% accurate. And then you calculate this number, that number, then you calculate SQL, and we not go into all that. It's fantastic. By any calculation, this math is a gift to humanity. And because we are just selling the subscription for 1.5 lakhs. How many of your friends will take? Many, right? This is how people are trapped. Look at the title. Chosen one or the trapped ones. So even if somebody gives you 10 predictions, one after another correctly, don't go by the face value thinking that he's God. We may be simply a part of larger data. Right? Just make that 1 lakh to 2 lakh, one step is added. 2 lakh to 4 lakh, one step is added. Crores of data is available for peanuts these days. So look at this video. Very nice video. This is that time now. Elon Musk became the world rich number 1, but he was rich 1 and rich 2. What is their discussion?
I once asked Warren Buffett, why don't more people copy your investment strategy? It's not that difficult to understand in principle. And he said, oh, Jeff, that's easy. My approach is to get rich slowly, Steve. People don't like those. And so, but there's a lot of truth in that for everything, which is if you can think in terms of 7 years instead of 3 years, and you can defer gratification and think long term, that will give you a head start against all of your competitors. Most people can't do that.
This is mantra 6. What is the mantra 6? It's okay to get rich slowly. We don't have to be fast forward on the journey. It's okay. Right? That story of here. Yeah, mantra 5 or 6 it is. Mantra 5. Mistake, but I would say we are just testing. So get rich slowly. Now, how slow? If you remain in the stock market for 10 years, you will become rich. If you remain in the stock market for 20 years, you will become wealthy. And if you remain in the stock market for 30 years, 3 decades, you will create generational wealth. This is the formula. 10, 20, 30. So instead of years, we have to think in terms of decades. There's a very beautiful quote by Bill Gates. He says, people often overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. And this is applicable every year. Why? Because power of compounding. Prabhuji, in the beginning, he was describing about power of compounding. So we'll quickly go through what is compounding. So compounding means that the initial investment and we are earning some returns on that investment, and the returns are reinvested and the whole corpus grows, and this is called as compounding. I invest 100 rupees in a bank, I get 8 rupees in interest. So next year I invest 108, and now I am going to get 8% on 108 in a simple terms. So this is called as compounding. So you must have heard this simple interest and chakravar vyas, right? You have heard this word chakravar vyas? Chakra, right? So this is the power of compounding. It's the snowball effect, right? So it works in our favor. Only thing is that we have to remain for the long term. And one of the biggest problem is people are not able to remain long. Recently there was a silver rally. Silver just became and then gold rally. So many people just wanted to participate in that gold rally. So every fad which comes in, people want to participate. Because we are overwhelmed by so many people saying that my defense stock did this, my silver stock did this, and therefore we are unable to take the full result of this power of compounding. This is the formula of power of compounding. The principal multiplied by 1 plus rate divided by 100 raised to t. What happens is people many times they focus on R but we should be focusing more on T. R is not in our hands. R is the returns that we are generating. What is surely in our hands is T, right? How long we are investing. So to the degree we invest long term, to that degree it becomes investing. To the degree it is short term, it becomes gambling. Right? So if you want to know the difference between investing and gambling, it's all about T. Correct. So here it is. What investor ignores, they ignore T, time in years, right? In decades. That's what we have to do. Okay, we'll just accelerate the whole thing. So this is the power of compounding. There is a story of a king. One day he sat with a saint, and he said, and he won the chess match, the saint. And the bet was like this. He said, you just give me one grain and double the grain every square of the chessboard. So, and the king just laughed at me. He said, what kind of king you are asking? I'm a king. Just ask with my degree. He said, no, just one grain on one this thing, second, two grains on second, four on third, eight on this, 16, and like this. And it was to 18,500,000,000 trillions grains at the end of 64 bracket, 64 square. So, there is a quote by Einstein. He says that compounding is the eighth interest. Those who understand it, make it. Those who don't, they suffer from it. Here are the numbers. If we make the investing for 5 years with simple 12% rate of return. See where the rate of return comes from. So remember a very simple problem. Inflation is 6%, right? 6%. Then there is Indian GDP growth generally happens at 6%. So 6 is inflation, GDP growth is 6%, 6 plus 6, and there is something called as a dividend yield. Companies are happy with us, we are using their money, that is around 1%. So 6 plus 6 plus 1, 13. But conservatively, you can take 12% rate of return as reasonable rate of return. And Indian markets till now has given around 11.65 to 13.65 between these two. But 12% is the reasonable assumption, and it is coming from India Group story. We are not betting on the expertise of the fund manager. We are betting on the India Group story, right? So please remember this number 6 plus 6 plus 1, and this is how it will come. So these are the numbers. 50 lakhs invested at 12% for 20 years, it will become 4.8 crores. Now these are reasonable numbers. Same 50 lakhs for 30 years, it will become 14.5. So earlier we start, so here it will be more clear. Warren Buffett got his large 99% of the wealth came after the age of 65. So it's all because of the process of compounding. Right. So what are the risks here? They are going slightly faster, but the theme is same, compounding. The one risk is inflation. Everybody understands inflation, that how costlier things become next year. That is inflation. This is how we erode the value of the money. Here is the case study. So if we delay our investment, we are delaying our future. Okay. So here is Ram, who starts at the age of 25, 12%, wants to retire at 65, he will end up with a corpus of 17 crore. Maybe Sundaram Shah could do this for me. But somebody delays it by 10 years. Look at the amount. Amount is same 15,000 per month, but delayed by 10 years from 17 crore will come to 5.29 crore. And then Ghanasham, he delays by 10 more years. So he starts at 45 years. Then it will come to 1.49. Okay. So there is a cost to delay. So it is always better to start early. The goal should be I want to remain for 1 to 3 decades in it. It is not musical kya. We tell people that market NAV for a mutual fund is published once a day. And if you check your app twice a day, what is it? It is updated only once a day. Okay. Now you are checking twice a day. Okay. So key benefits. Okay, so these are some key benefits. Potential for exponential growth. And it can have a phenomenal growth. Right. And phenomenal growth for devotee means phenomenal projects for them. We want devotees to become rich. For that, I mean, so many, we have so many causes. We have Pushala, another temple, we have Adra campaign, book distribution, Janmashtami, and reasons, right? So, lower risk and higher returns. More we focus on T, we don't have to focus on R so much. We don't become desperate. नहीं मुझे 60 आ रहा है मेरा कुछ भी करके 18% चाहिए मुझे. And the more we are desperate, more we'll be attracted to other schemes like this, Ponzi schemes. Right? Accelerates wealth accumulation. And next is helps meet the long-term financial goals. Right? So, is the potential for exponential growth? We are seeing lower risk. So, it is not just about the returns, it is about with what risk we are getting that return. Right? So, this is called as risk-adjusted returns. It is not about returns. Just imagine that somebody is invested in a stock. From 100, it became 400, it became 800, and then it became 200. He will have hypertension, BP, and paralysis. Somebody is invested in a stock, it became 100, from 100 it became 120, 110, 150, 140, and 200. Both reach from 100 to 200. But it is not just the destination, the journey is far more important than the destination. Right? And especially in finance, people have such regrets. And stock market means regret. If you go right, you think, घर बेच के क्यों नहीं invest किया? If you go wrong, it's anyway a regret, right? So stock market means regret. It's always. Therefore, please write this mantra that this journey is far more important than destination. Two reasons. One reason is destination will come only once. Journey is always. Right? Susukham kartum apte. Right? Kevala ananda kartam. Second is the destination may not come. I have a goal of some XCR, we may not reach there. But the journey is always there. And therefore, what is more important, journey or destination? Of course, destination is important, no doubt. But how we reach to that destination, that is extremely important. Right? So, this is about lower risk and higher returns, risk adjusted. Accelerates wealth accumulation. You know, Bombay is filled with people who have become croropatis from very, very modest families by understanding this formula of decades. Helps meet long-term financial goals. So they have sufficiently done this work. Okay. How to do start early? As early as possible. We should start as early as possible. जब जागो तब सवेरे. If you are not started yet, start as early. Be consistent. Now you will be very surprised to know, nowadays world is known for DIY, not do it yourself investing. 97% of the SIPs they stop within first 3 years because people keep on using different fads. Right? This is amphitheater. 97% of SIP they stop within first 3 years. So it is very, very, I mean, we will not going those topics. There is something called as investment return and investor return. So there is a big case study of Peter Lynch. He had his fund which gave like 29% for 13 years, but the investor got only 6% because they went out, came in, chasing some other fad, and all those things. Therefore, consistency is very important. Reinvesting earning, okay. Diversify portfolio. We are not just putting all our eggs in one basket. We will diversify across the asset. There will be some amount in debt, some amount in real estate, some amount in equity. So we have to diversify the portfolio based on our own risk profile, ability to take risk and tolerate risk. Right. Stay patient and stay invested. Markets will go up, markets will go down. Right. The numbers are 7-year compounded markets have never given negative returns. Therefore, that 7 years or 5 years is considered normal. Right. So, and there will be always a reason. And there is a beautiful quote. I love this quote. I think it is by Nassim Taleb. He says, market will stay insolvent. Market will stay irrelevant, then you can stay insolvent. Something that will exist. Yeah, so which is up. That means another 10 minutes? 5 minutes. So how many? What is our hard stop?
Shardon is waiting for it.
So that's full stop. So another 10 minutes. Okay. Another 10 minutes. Then there is review and rebalance because situation is changing, markets are changing. We just cannot do one thing. We have to time review and rebalance, minimize the cost, and these are the steps in harnessing the company. Okay, start early, be consistent, stay invested, diversify, stay patient, review and rebalance, and minimize the cost. So when we sail out, come in, we should avoid those exits and so we'll come to the last few slides. So we have to take charge of the money, and this is the word slide. The money is generally divided into these four classes: income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Okay, and income we just say revenue, and we say REAL, the real estate. So what you are doing actually, what you have done is the real estate. What are your revenues? RE, what are your expenses? What assets you have? What liabilities you have? And that's how we become real estate. We should have a reality check. Okay, this is the reality check, and we have to map them to four types: needs, wants, dreams, and needs. Right. This is how we have to map our goals, and these are the goals. Right. So now this is the mantra 6 or 7. Time in the market is more important than time. So we don't have time. What is the first one? Life insurance is income. What is the second one? Yes. What is the third one? Health insurance is saving. What is the fourth one? Huh? Yeah, don't worry about the returns on emergency. What is the fifth one? It's okay to get rich slowly. It is okay to get rich slowly. Right. What is the sixth one? This is the sixth one. Time in the market is more important than timing the market. We don't have to catch every top or bottom. Right. We have to go as well. So there are certain investment vehicles. So these are the investment vehicles. They are the mutual fund, AIF, PMS, SIF, ETF, and bonds. Okay. So one slide is dedicated to one of them. Quickly. So there are AIF. There are three categories: Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, and we should avoid. Okay. We don't go into the details of all this, but we have done exhaustive study on all this, and what I mean. Minimum investment here is 1 CR. Most of the time the ticket size itself. But simply because it is the premium product doesn't make it a good product. So the average returns of AIF average is far lesser than. Next is PMS. PMS is portfolio management service. Ticket size is 50 lakhs here. Again, there are n number of things within that. We can invest. Coffee can invest. Marcellus. Okay, recently he just announced that coffee can investing is dead. And he was managing 11,000 crore, and in one day it became 2,500. People just withdrew it. Okay, so PMS is not a stable product yet, but anyway, this is for the sake of completion of knowledge. SIF, specialized investment fund. This is between PMS and mutual fund. So here the minimum investment is 10 lakhs, and here the fund manager has more leeway. He can play with the market with some futures and options. So futures and options are in the words of Einstein, Warren Buffett, futures and options are the financial weapons of mass destruction. Like you have nuclear weapons, there are futures and options. So this is here about SIF data is not available. It is very newly launched product 2025, uncharted territory, and you don't have any 5 years data, 10 years, 7 years data. This is summary. Mutual fund minimum investment you can begin with 500, then you have 1 crore, 50 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Semi-regulated, all products are regulated. India market is extremely regulated. It is far better than even US or Europe. So India market is extremely regulated. Liquidity is very high, and then there are other parameters. Risk level is generally low to high. Other products they go to medium to high. Transparency is very high in mutual funds. And taxation is ideal for all investors. It comes with a fund, it comes with a size also in such a way that it's ideal for all investors. So the mutual fund, we did a very exhaustive study. It thinks on all parameters compared to all the products within. Right? Every need can be taken care by a mutual fund. It can be a short term, long term, mid term, debt. This can be just taken care by mutual funds. Therefore, this campaign, mutual fund, this is the campaign, and it's very important campaign actually. So this is the next slide because we are in the last part of last 5 slides. Now this slide is all about we created wealth. Important part of wealth creation is transferring the wealth to next generation. Right? This concludes with the entire financial planning will conclude with wealth transfer. Why? Because the reality is that no one grows. You have seen kids fighting like this. The same fight you must have seen when Dhirubhai Ambani left and there was a fight between the two brothers. And it is just the same fight. We have seen, the two sisters fighting for which jewelry they want. And 85. These are real things happening. Tamrams fighting like this. Not like. I mean, people highly cultured. They have a land, and they said that मुझे front का portion चाहिए. And others said नहीं, मैं मुझे चाहिए. And then there was a bitter fight. Went to the court, and so nobody grows. And therefore, it is very important to make a will. Will is not very good translated. It is translated as मृत्यु पत्र. नाम में मृत्यु है, तो people say नहीं. But it is इच्छा. Okay, why? Will is important. It ensures the wealth transfer as per your choice. If somebody passes away without a will, the wealth transfer will take place according to the laws of government laws and according to the religion you belong to. Right? So it transfers the wealth as per your choice. Wealth supersedes nomination. This is a very important line. Sometimes people feel that I have a nomination. Nominee is only the trustee of the wealth that he has inherited. He is not the receiver of the wealth. So, will supersedes nomination. Right? The next is, otherwise you have to follow a very lengthy court process, profit, succession certificate. So the point is that, therefore we have given you this something called as asset register. All of you have this? Yeah. So at your leisure, please fill it up. Wife should know all the assets husband has. So important. Husband should know, vice versa. So sometimes, to the extent of knowing the password of your iPhone and your Gmail is required. Right? Because most of the finance, they are following this after witnessing some cases where the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were fighting over the phone and laptop. Because in the phone and laptop, the phone OTPs were coming and laptop the names were open. And the fellow died is one thing, and these two are like, pulling the phone and laptop. Real life, 6 months. Okay. So our family members should know about that. किसको कितना पैसा दिया है, people should know. Otherwise it will never. किसको कितना देना है, even if people don't know, people will come to ask them. Okay, but right. So there are general myths around will. People say, no, Prabhuji, my children will not fight. No, this entire slides with no. Right. So single child, I don't need a will. No. Because otherwise you have to follow the court process. And here is the last one. is the real life. Okay? So, will means, now you understand its importance. You can transfer the wealth as per your choice. And therefore, and when you do that, that is the final method that implies will is a relationship insurance. Will is a relationship insurance. Very good. Really last 2 minutes now. That's the mantra one. Life insurance is income insurance. What is the second one? Don't mix investment and insurance. What is the third one? Health insurance is savings insurance. What is the fourth one? Never worry about the returns on emergency fund. What is the fifth one? It's okay to get rich. What is the sixth one? Time in market. Perfect. Time in the market is more important than timing. So we should think in terms of decades. So what is the seventh one? No one grows. It is the relationship insurance. Right? So this is the wealth management pyramid. First, we have to protect with insurance, debt reduction, emergency fund. Then we have to go for savings for the the child education, needs, retirement. Then we have to go for growth. Then we have to go for fire. Fire is financial independent and retire early. That is what is fire. So, and then one goes for distribution of the wealth, right? So now, hopefully, you have a complete idea how to protect, which insurance to take, which not to take, how much to take. Savings, how much should be savings, this number is clear to you. You have done the calculations, right? Growth, growth will happen in future. Okay. And how much we should reasonably expect 12 to 13%. And then fire number, we have calculated what is the retirement kitty that we need, essentially the term insurance amount plus something. And then distribution, we have seen that the estate planning and succession planning is important part of health insurance. Right. Now we come back to the same definition. What is financial well-being? This is where we began, right? So the financial well-being is the feeling of security, clarity, and confidence around families' personal finances to achieve current and future financial needs, right? What next? These are the four things. These are the first thing is realize that your finance is sorted. There is nothing more to finance than this. We have done all 360 degree of finance. We have done really, quite in depth. We have done the finance. We have talked about term insurance, health insurance, SIP, emergency fund, financial goals, compounding, and bill. This is the entire spectrum of finance. Three homeworks I have: income expense sheet that we did not fully do it, risk assessment. So one of the sheet behind there is a risk assessment. Go through that. Try to revisit the whole thing within 24 hours, and surely, meet us within 7 days. Okay, this is not for you. So what we do the personal finance planning for people in general. We have this company called GSA. GSA stands for genuine, structured, and aligned. And this entire process is, defined with keeping this in mind. The knowledge and the way should be genuine. It should be very structured approach to the finance, and it should be aligned to our personal finance. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we'll go to the questions now. Maybe we can take 2 questions or more. Yeah. The very important thing is, and for the next year, more on personal finance. Don't ask your personal finance questions. You can ask some general questions which are related to the overall finance or investment. Hare Krishna. So there will be a survey that will show you now. In part of the survey, we are going to offer free one-on-one conversation with Prabhuji. Each conversation is about 30 minutes. So if you want to have the conversation, tomorrow he is going to have about hours of time.
Then Monday he will dedicate about half a day. So this was the time slot available. And whoever wants a personal, let's say you have personal question you can ask here. Okay? You can have that conversation tomorrow or Monday. You can pick your slots now. Okay? Maybe you want to question now. Thanks so much for very amazing positive topic, but it's very recently this seems like in top 50 always there, for example, maybe this tobacco. Some are like even in alcoholic. So yeah, it's very difficult to choose the fund where it's more pure. What are your thoughts on it? Like for devotees to invest, what is the state investment option in mutual funds?
So, I mean, simply put, Bhagavatam says, Jivo Shiva. Tallest thing in material world is very difficult to predict. So, I would say we should not overanalyze. We analyze on the first level, and then second, third level, fourth level of analysis, maybe not so much. Like, I mean, yeah. So I mean,
You're right in the sense like what happens?
probably what has happened is Kaliyuga has evolved in such a way that even the post-corona, when they wanted to the entire yes.
Hare Krishna. So I'll just give you an live example. You're working for Intel, and Intel India Bangalore, they bought a 40-acre land concession. But Intel has a very strict policy on private. They said they will not give private because it's corporate. Okay? So, but in India, can you buy land without category? Possible. So then what they did, they hired an agency and they transferred the entire money to the agency. Now, the agency bought that land and doing the entire transaction, transfer the asset to it. Effectively, the same thing is done. Okay, but it is done in a roundabout. So that's the way the material world functions. If you want to be such a perfectionist, it's impossible to lead a life in this material world. So it always reminds me of Prabhupada saying, everybody came and asked Prabhupada, should I take allopathic medicine? Should I take Ayurvedic medicine? Should I take homeopathic medicine? What did Prabhupada answer? Whichever cures you so that you can perform work take. So that is the key now. So you focus on that, focus on your goal. Don't get worried about small things that keep disturbing you because you can never be perfect. That's the personal relation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
You did touch upon education. But still, there's a lot of anxiety on when you do this program for your change. So how do you this one of the what is
Yeah. So again, there is no straight answer. I did a lot of research on that. And because I wanted to know, then I went to the real first definition in Bhagavad Gita, Vishit Muraksha Vanicya, and how Srila Prabhupada translated the word Vanicya as trade, but then that trade is not trading, and that trading is surely not intraday trading. You know what I mean? So all that different combinations, finally I came to one conclusion, which is slightly eccentric conclusion, is that literally everything in the material world is a right? Because it is padam padam padam. Marriage is a gamble or not? Look around if your wife is hearing. Okay. If your husband is hearing, then yes. Thank you, Mataji. Done. Yeah. But what we do, the Prabhupada talks about matching Kundalini. So it is always about taking risk and eventually reducing risk. Having a guess and making them educated guess. Right? So what is Kundalini? Kundalini is educated guess. Educated guess. And that is true practically for every aspect. Now, how we are confident? We are not confident even of the fund manager's ability to pick right stocks. Because they are going to change, they are going to fail, everything's good. Warren Buffett, he personally chose 300 stocks. All the wealth came from 12 stocks. Warren Buffett, they have billions of dollars for research. But what we are confident of is India growth. India will grow, surely India will grow. There are certain parameters in that. So what are the parameters? Like one parameter is flight tickets are booked more quickly than third is. Per capita, is around 2000 USD per annum. And this is the sweet spot where from 2000 to 8,000 per annum becomes very fast. India, so like that, there are parameters of India growth. We are just confident of India growth. So now duration and gambling, that was oversimplification. But actually it cannot be ascertained. So it is very, very subjective. It's very, very case specific.
Unit versus unit card respectively. Which is better?
Unit we a strong no to ULIP, sector funds, sectorial funds, thematic funds. We have a big list of them. Why? Because though NFO, now we purposefully did not touch those because I did not want to earn that word commissions. But anyway, the question has come back. In ULIP, first year premium 35% was the commission, agent's commission. Just imagine if you start a race 35% down on your premium, what you can achieve. And mathematically, it can be very.
That is assuming mutual funds you're doing offset. If you are giving it to a portfolio manager, same cost.
No, that is so we give it to portfolio manager, financial advisor, but we focus on instead of ULIP, we focus on the regular user, not the ULIP. ULIP there is a element of insurance, and that is very very legal insurance. Again, we are mixing two products, insurance and investment. So so we should not.
One last question.
Uh, for second, my question is that can just tell us reassure that many persons have made money, good money in the past decade. Now, in the coming decade, because of the start, they also get the same return they make. This is one. Second one is some of us due to ignorance, again, one of the reasons was that our misconception about the gambling. So some of us instead of 25 years we started with 35 years. So we started with late. In that case, what we should do so that we can get that corpus and return?
Excellent, very good question. The first thing is, will we continue the growth trajectory? All parameters say yes. All parameters say yes, and there are 10 odd parameters which say yes. I just spoke about the things are happening, the per capita, GDP per capita, the numbers there, and there are many more indicators. Electricity consumption, per capita electricity consumption, per capita oil consumption. Even there are on different levels there are indicators. All indicators say yes. How much will grow? Again, the number is around 6% will grow due to inflation, 5 to 6%. 6% is the nominal GDP growth. GDP growth, so the nominal growth becomes 6 plus 6, 12, and yield is around 1%. 6 plus 6 plus 1, 13. But it will not be linear 13. Sometimes it will be like last 2 years, it is nothing. People are desperate. And people will become more desperate, people will go out of the market and the market will like that. This is time tested again and again. Like recently there was an interview by Nitin Khan. He says that we don't have the alternative. He has the alternative. And data means not just the price volume data. Data which is like how many new accounts are opening, what's the new flow of money. He has a lot of data. And then he says that we are on a good, very much. All parameters. Now there are, people are predicting war, people are predicting 2032, Kalki is going to come, and some serious people are asking, Prabhuji, 32 Kalki is coming. I said, wow. So,
We are predicting a third world.
third world war. So this all will happen. All will happen, all predictions will happen. Whether it happens or not, let it come. Now, second, we have started late. No problem. हमारा अच्छा दिन project. Allah says, better late than जब जागो तब सवेरे. Wherever we are, just pitch in more. Like, न सोचे थी मैं काम. You have to give up the great innings. That is very important. Otherwise, there are n number of people. Even things go as per their plans. Because market is perpetual regeneration. It's designed like right. If you go right, you will go wrong. Absolutely. This opportunity, you will tell your friend, and friend will make money, and you will say, yeah. One has to control one's expectations. Right. Yes.
If you want last question.
Last.
Right.
You're up.
Any complete. So that question is all those. Right. No, this is investing. We don't predict about government and industry. Thanks.
One line to say, I want to say is that whenever there is a technology disruption, every technology disruption has created far more jobs than the technology disruption. People were equally scared when computers and equally scared when internet was there. Now this is the third thing. So technology generally creates more jobs than so.
In the conversation where we are looking at asked about trading, what about increasing that? Was it related to future things?
Yeah, we check. There is another way of this thing. Fairly
Hare Krishna, just please, see, there is a feedback form. If you want a private session, in the feedback form, there it is written that you want it or not. You can specify the date, that is tomorrow Sunday or Monday, half a day. If you want any of the session, please write this and give it to us so that we'll start it. Write your phone number, so we'll contact you and give you the session and you can have this private session. Okay? And if anyone has written some notes on the back side, please take a photo and give us the form, because we need the form for our analysis purpose. Yeah, they will take the photo and give us the form. No, one instruction. There's nothing personal. So please write down the survey form and hand it over to us. Okay. Thank you so much. And we'll have a small thank you. Hare Krishna. As you know, like, just, just small announcement. After this, we have Prasadam. So just give us 2 minutes to conclude this. In the next call, it's there. Yeah, I'll announce that. Just give us 2 minutes. So first of all, thanks Mukundan and Prabhu for such an enlightening, give a big round of applause. Now, you know how, right, so if a spiritual get into finance, you can also derive mantras in finance. That's what you realize. And then we have good mantras to remember, and then we also have some ideas of how to take it forward. You can always reach out to him and get his personal time in terms of your
personal conversations in terms of personal finance, right? So thanks a lot for your time. We got a delayed a bit, but I think if we have had more time, we would have had a lot many discussions also for sure. Maybe you would want, yes, in the WhatsApp group also you can reach out and ask questions, and maybe we'll have Upadam go again here for the next session as a, I would say, next part 2 of this session in the coming days. Thanks a lot, and please do go to the other building, the first floor. We'll have Prasadam there, and please do order the Prasadam there.